Hello folks, can SoundHound double in price by the end of next week? I believe so, and in this video I'll give you reasons why I think this is the case. First, I'll talk about the election and the impact on stocks, then the Fed's latest rate cut, the performance of the broader stock market and its implications for SoundHound, an update on SoundHound's business activity, and finally, technical analysis, where I draw the path by which SoundHound will go up in price. Before we begin, please note that none of this is financial advice and is for entertainment purposes only. So I'm sure you're aware of the election results by now, and markets emphatically responded to what appears to be a red sweep, with the Dow going up a staggering 1,500 points the day after the election. Also, an astonishing $1.6 trillion of wealth was created in the stock market that same day, and as this chart shows, large one-day wealth gains like this precede strong rallies over the next several months, if not years. We saw this at the COVID bottom in March 2020 and also the bottom of the 2022 bear market just 2 years ago. So if history is any guide, we could be in for a huge rally for many months ahead, and most likely SoundHound will participate with vigor. Furthermore, one of the best equity strategists on Wall Street, Tom Lee, just said the S&P 500 could go up another 10% by the year's end. Have a listen.
The move yesterday, 3%, the best move in the history of any post-election rally, I think needs to be respected because it really highlights one of two things, or both. One is that there was so much de-risking into that election. Actually, it was unusual. We actually fell 2 weeks into election day. That happens like about a third of the time. And the second is that animal spirits could be unleashed because of the interest and belief that there's deregulation and mergers and a pro-business environment. So I think it's a very respectable move, and I think it sort of argues we have 5 to 10% upside into year end.
Adding fuel to the rally is the Fed. After making a jumbo rate cut in September, the Fed continued on its rate cutting cycle by cutting rates a further 25 basis points on Thursday. This is good for stocks like SoundHound because it lowers the cost of capital, which in turn makes it cheaper to borrow and raise money that SoundHound needs for R&D and expanding its operations. And in a dovish tilt, it appears more likely that the Fed is going to continue to cut rates than to pause or hike them, because Jay Powell appears to be more worried about the labor market weakening than inflation coming back. Watch this video.
We don't want the labor market to soften much from here. We don't think we need that to happen to get inflation back to 2%. We're aiming for inflation at 2%. We did not think it would be appropriate to deliberately undershoot. And part of the problem there is that low inflation can be a problem too.
Did you catch that? He actually wants a little bit of inflation. He implicitly admitted that he's totally fine with inflation running at just above 2% because it's better than too low inflation, which is risky because it could devolve into deflation, which is negative inflation, and deflation is terrible for the economy in general. So it's safe to say that for now, the Fed has the stock markets back. So let's move on to SoundHound and talk about the latest investor update. SoundHound CEO Mike Zagorsek recently talked about SoundHound's involvement in the automotive industry. The key takeaways from this talk were high demand for voice AI in automobiles from customers, generative AI has turbocharged the potential of voice AI, and voice commerce is the future and offers enormous opportunities for SoundHound. As you may be aware, SoundHound AI this year partnered up with both OpenAI and Perplexity AI to infuse its existing voice AI technology with the market-leading LLMs and generative AI models of these companies to produce an even better product called generative voice AI. This is a natural evolution of SoundHound's voice AI offering and will help it to expand its footprint in both the automotive and quick service restaurant sectors. Furthermore, once SoundHound is able to monetize the third pillar, which is voice commerce ecosystem, it could be the impetus for a huge uplift in SoundHound's valuation. SOUN is due to report earnings after close on Tuesday, and whilst I expect to see solid progress being made in the first two pillars, I want to see that management have made strides towards implementing the third pillar as a legitimate commercial reality. If so, we could see the stock explode higher. On that note, let's move on to SoundHound's chart. After basing for what felt like an eternity, SoundHound is finally showing signs of legitimately breaking out. Not only has it definitively broken through this weekly ascending wedge, it has also penetrated the resistance line at $6 and looks like the $8 to $9 range is its next stop. I personally think we could get there by the week's close, and then on Monday and or Tuesday there might be a small sell-off as traders de-risk before earnings, before skyrocketing on Wednesday after we get what will hopefully be a positive earnings release for Q3. In the earnings release, I want to hear more about big client wins and an upgrade to top-line guidance for the remainder of the year. This is just my speculation and it's not financial advice, and there's a high chance I'm going to be wrong. But it is good to have a framework that depicts what you want to happen, because if the market confirms or doesn't confirm your expectations, it's information you can use in your trading or investment decisions. Anyway, by the year's end, as long as SoundHound doesn't release a negative announcement and the broader market stays strong, I don't see why SoundHound cannot reach my initial price target of $12. I've been pounding the table for this price to be reached for most of the year now, and I'm probably going to hold all my shares even if it does reach that price, because I feel like it could be a pit stop from where the share price could go up even higher. In addition, the short float has been elevated all year, and I think the higher the share price goes, the more the shorts will be forced to cover, which will only add more fuel to the rally. So we have a lot of things going our way as SoundHound investors, and let me summarize why I'm so bullish. We have a favorable macroeconomic backdrop. Rate cuts are good for equities, especially small caps like SoundHound. We are also in a strong bull market, and now small caps look like they might begin to outperform the S&P 500. After the last election, small caps went up huge in November, December, January, and February. We all know what happened with GME and AMC. AI is the leading stock market sector, and SoundHound is probably the leading voice AI stock. Furthermore, technical momentum is bullish. This year we've had a huge spike in SoundHound's price, followed by a long consolidation, which usually precedes another huge spike. And lastly, voice AI is the future. It's inevitable. The technology is here to stay, and the more people use it, the more companies use it, the more it's going to be commercialized, and companies like SoundHound will reap the benefits. Alright, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please click the like, subscribe, and the notification bell so that you get immediate updates when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.